presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Swing and a miss. Oregon is headed to the Super Regional.
Fans being out there making this a great impact.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is a work week for Oregon football. The Ducks on the practice field this morning. We've got some updates for you from Oregon football practice. I am Joey Mack, and I'm pleasured to be here today because the Ducks are not only practicing on the football field, but we get to talk diamond sports over the next couple days with Oregon softball head coach Melissa Lombardi. She's going to be with us today. We actually talked with her after practice yesterday, or after the show yesterday. I can't remember if they practiced yesterday or not. And then we're also going to talk with Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wazakowski tomorrow, get some updates from fall ball for the diamond sports here during this football work week. I think I've officially broken the habit. I don't call it a bye week anymore. It's a work week. Dan Lanning, appropriate branding. You talk about the motivation that Coach Lanning brings to the table all the time. Shout out to Ducks versus them and to Jump Around. You know, it was fun for us on the broadcast because many of you who watch Ducks versus them, you see that the first segment of our broadcast is often kind of the scene setter with the crew in Ducks versus them and give a little context to what's going on, right? And, you know, we were all waiting for the jump around moment. You know, this is the fun part with what I get to do, what Jerry, Jorgie, Dusty, what we get to do. We're traveling with the team, we're around the team, we're at practice, and you know, we're not with the team all the time, but we try to be around enough. As the phrase goes, you try to know enough to be dangerous, right? And we were just waiting for jump around. Not because, you know, we knew the full extent that it would impact the game, but just selfishly it was fun to see what that tradition looked like, but then also the Ducks had played it at practice, and you know that they're ready for these sorts of motivating moments, and it was chef's kiss how it all played out, right? Ducks heard that song, participating, and ready to roll in the fourth quarter. Came away with a gritty win. So we got Coach Lanning's thoughts on that. Also, we're going to hear from Coach Altman today as the Duck basketball team is on the road in Corvallis tomorrow. 6:30 pregame with myself and Luke Jackson. 7 o'clock tip for Oregon and Oregon State. The rivalry game is renewed. It is the most contested rivalry in the history of men's basketball. Wow. Most contested. Most games ever played of any rivalry series. Ducks and Beavs. First road game for Dane Altman's team, and it's two undefeated squads that will meet tomorrow. Hear from Dane Altman coming up in just a moment. He met with the media after practice yesterday. Coach Lanning, the Oregon football head coach, is at the podium today after practice, upstairs in the Hatfield-Dowling Complex Media Center. Every time we talk with Coach Lanning, Altman, Lombardi, any head coach, it's brought to you by our friends at Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Here's Coach Lanning.
Tez posted to his social media yesterday that he's back. Just curious if you can offer an update on there.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about injuries. You guys will see them on the field when they're ready to go.
Does the move to unlimited officials open things up for this next weekend a little bit more than maybe it was originally anticipated? And how many more does that really open?
Not necessarily for us. I mean, I do think that's a problem solver for certainly a lot of new teams that have a lot of transition that's happening, but not necessarily for us.
Yeah, Coach, it's safe to say you've been pretty creative this year in terms of how you've motivated the team and also created an edge for those guys, from, the Pavlov's dog metaphor last week to, the Gladiator movie against Michigan. So where does that creativity come from, and how important is it when you're coaching a group of college guys to sort of package that information in unique ways?
Well, I do think it's important to package information in unique ways, but ultimately I'd say motivation's overrated. You still have to go out there and go perform. And our guys have done a really good job of doing that.
a team doesn't get to where you guys are without really good coaches. We've talked a lot about the players. Just want to give you an opportunity to kind of shout out what you've seen from this staff and everybody involved to get there.
Yeah, it's the best staff I've ever been a part of. In terms of preparation, in terms of self-awareness, identifying something that we have to improve on. Our offensive staff, defensive staff, special teams, like really just our entire staff is phenomenal at that. Like I think that's a trait that doesn't exist a lot. We always talk about, coach our players being coachable, right? I think it's really important for coaches to be coachable and to have great self-awareness of like, where can we improve? What do we do best? How can we attack the opponent? And that's what I think our coaching staff's elite at.
As much as you'd probably like to win every game by 50 points, what value do you see in a game where you have to fight to the very end and you kind of allow that connection to show itself late in the game?
Yeah, ultimately, I think every team I've been a part of that's had success has had resilient, games, wins that required everyone's effort all the way to the very end and critical moments. And it certainly prepares you for moments like that you'll have in the future.
When you got here, there were players you had to convince to stay, and there's still some of them here. Bassa, Ferg, Keon, Herbert, Harper. Your thoughts on just what those guys mean to this program and the success you guys are having this season? I forgot Dante as well.
Yeah, so just some unbelievable guys that have a goal and realize that they can accomplish that goal right here at Oregon. And I think they work their tail off, and those are some of the critical leaders of this group that have really framed the culture for our team. And we always talk about this being a player-led team. I think that shows up with those guys.
With signing day in a couple of weeks, there's been some reports out there about 85 and 105 and how much of the 105 would stay at 85. What's your understanding, Dan, of what the Big Ten is going to do? Is it going to still be at 85 for the scholarship side, and 105 is what the anticipation is for overall roster size? I'm
not going to really hop into it. I mean, the great thing about college football is it could change again tomorrow, so we're ready to adapt, and I'm not going to really lean into that, but you're on track.
I wonder if you've had a chance to kind of appreciate what Kenny's been able to do at Arizona State and kind of the spot they're in right now.
Yeah, we certainly text back and forth. I mean, I think he's done an unbelievable job taking that team where they're at right now. And I haven't really had an opportunity to watch them, but you can track them and see what they've done. And I know where it was at when he got there, so really impressive and glad he's doing so well.
How much of this week is spent preparing for Washington, or more of a work week, like you say, and kind of focusing on yourself?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we can get better at, and it's really focused on us. That's you do get an opportunity to get a jump on another team, but I think the thing that you have to do first is evaluate yourself. So that's what this week's really been about: us improving, getting healthy, focusing on those details.
Portal was always opening in December before, Dan, but with the playoff now being as long as it is and the back end of the window narrowing, no one has the luxury of waiting for guys to enter or forcing them to wait until after the season's over. They're going to have to be in earlier. Your thoughts on how you're going to go about managing that, where if guys are looking to enter, will they still be able to play if you're still playing?
Probably not. But we're evaluating that. Guys have to make the best decision for them, and that's one of the things that's great about college football is they have that power, they have that right to be able to do that. But I think our team's in a really good place, and we'll have the right guys here available to help us through the stretch.
Also, signing day pushed up, and I think a unique opportunity this weekend to have a bye week. How do you guys utilize this week from a recruiting standpoint and be prepared for an earlier signing period?
Yeah, we had a big personnel meeting, earlier this week, and continue to evaluate who we can add to our roster and where we're at with guys that are currently committed, and be able to make those connections and tap in. So everything's, the time of all of it doesn't necessarily make sense for our schedule, right? But that's what's great is who can manage that the best and adapt and do the best job of handling all those situations.
That is Dan Lanning, the Oregon football head coach, meeting with the media after practice today as the work week continues. He just walked in, folks. Jason Harris, the head of people in venues, is here. Has that name stuck? Am I the only one calling you that?
Because it's come out from colleagues around, family members. They're like, oh, is that a new? I'm like, it's not. And it is a new title.
It's official.
Yeah, I'm waiting. The business cards are gonna get ordered.
Yeah,
that's when you know. That's when you know.
That's great. So ticket updates. It sounds like we have some breaking news.
There's a lot going on. We got. If we look chronologically, we got Washington coming up next week. There's less than 100 reserve seats remaining. So those will go probably within the next 24 hours, and then we'll have a limited standing room only on sale after that. So another sellout at Altman. This will mean all 7 games this year sold out. So yeah, a great year. Fans really showing up, the excitement level this year, and can't wait to see as we look forward to 2025, which segues into renewals. So anyone that has season tickets this year, renewals are live for 2025. The renewal deadline is on January 31st.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Christmas present.
Yeah, a little bit. Just get those done, and then we'll kind of from that segue into seat selection, but we'll send some information out on that side. And then Big Ten championship game. Obviously, we got announced last night. Great one. Those tickets are on sale now. So we got a couple price areas, sideline seats and end zone seats. Links for all three. So if someone's looking for Washington, you're looking for renewals, if you're looking to submit a deposit for 2025 season tickets or for the Big Ten championship game tickets, all of them are on goducks.com/FBTix. So
all right.
all of
Tix
them
with
are
an
on there.
X.
Yeah, Tix with an X.
Tix
so,
with an X.
Wait,
real quick. You said we don't think there's going to be any reserve seats for Washington left in the next 24 hours.
I think we have. I think it was 79 or 89 as I walked over here. So there's not many left. There'll be a lot of secondary tickets, so fans can go to Ticketmaster.com and they can get the limited reserve tickets that fans are selling, and standing room only will be available on there as well. But
Cool.
yeah, there'll be a packed house, and obviously with the game being a week and a half away, a lot of time for fans to get standing room only tickets if they don't get the reserve tickets by today. So it should be great. A great send off for the seniors, great send off for this team, and then obviously on that, then a week, and then we'll be in Indianapolis.
You bring up a good point, though. It is senior day, everybody. It is senior day for that game. It always sneaks up on me, honestly.
The whole season, I feel like I blinked and I was like, obviously I think we were kind of front loaded, and after Ohio State, we kind of got into a little rhythm of home away. But I'm like, I was talking to Nate Kruger, and there's still a lot of games potentially ahead of us as well.
That's right.
So it's as exhausting as now, and we feel like it's kind of a relief with no home games.
Right.
There's a lot of different opportunities, and so it'll be exciting to see what the team has and where they take us throughout the country.
Ticket guru, Jason Harris. So we call him the head of people in venues. Butts in seats. That's what we like.
I love it. Keep them in, keep them going. So excited. And then after that, we got a lot of basketball going on right now as well.
That's right. Goducks.com/FBTix. All of the info, Big Ten championship game tickets, multiple price points you mentioned.
Yep.
That's great. Sounds like if you want a reserve seat for Washington, move in the next 24 hours. And then, 2025, probably going to be a good season. Signing day is coming up. We'll cover that a little more in depth.
I love it.
The next couple weeks. Jason, anything else? What else should fans know?
That's it. I mean, we look forward to having you out. Thanks for everyone's support throughout this football season and as it continues.
Assistant Athletic Director, Tickets, Sales, Service, Operations, Jason Harris.
Thank you, everyone.
The head of people in venues, butts in seats. We love it. Jason, thank you. A quick timeout. Good update today. When we come back, speaking of basketball, Dana Altman previewing the rivalry game coming your way tomorrow. We'll hear from Coach Altman next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. No. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. No by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
How about that? Great update. Jason Harris, Assistant Athletic Director for Ticket Sales and Service. That was fun. Good update. Sounds like reserve tickets, not going to have any left for Washington. Another sellout. Shout out to the fans. I mean, I know it sounds corny for me on Duck Insider to sit here and say, like, good job, fans. But seriously, Dolly Parton singing about Eugene, Oregon at the end of every game, coming home, it's going to be senior day, shout, like, the environment hasn't been off the charts just because the team is good. I mean that sincerely. Like, believe me, I love the fact that if I take my headset off, I cannot hear what Jerry is saying, even though he's standing right in front of me. That's a good thing, you know? Shout out to the fans. It's been a lot of fun at Autzen Stadium. At least one more at Autzen Stadium, and we'll see what happens moving forward. Now shifting gears to basketball as the work week continues for Oregon football. 7 o'clock tomorrow, it's on ESPN+, and then myself and Luke Jackson will have a 6:30 pregame show for you on the Oregon Sports Network. Oregon men's basketball 4-0, Oregon State men's basketball 4-0. Wayne Tinkle has assembled a roster of a lot of new faces. I actually just spent my morning learning about a lot of those new faces. Ducks also have some new faces, but some close games that have gone Oregon's way at Oregon State the last few years. In any case, Coach Altman coming off a 4-0 start to the season. After the scare against Portland, I think the Ducks have taken a step forward. What does Coach Altman think? The Oregon men's basketball head coach breaking it all down. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Coach Altman.
Well, Dan, through these first few games, for Mookie specifically, how much of it has been, first off, what are your thoughts on how he's played, particularly on offensive end, but how much of his restriction is somewhat imposed by recovery from the injury and just coming along with understanding things after being off the court for a while?
Well, he's got a lot, of progress that he's got to make yet to earn more minutes. He has done some good things. I go back to that Riverside game. He really did a good job on the press. He had a good practice today, but he's got to, like a lot of guys, got to string some practices together to have that consistency that we need. Again, it's kind of hard right now to distinguish between our guys. There's not a lot of separation in practice, and there hasn't been a lot of separation in games. Of guys getting things done. With the exception of Nate's ability to block some shots, guys just haven't separated themselves. So it's been a little tough to distinguish who to put out there, and hopefully in practice and through some more games, we'll get a little better feel. And some guys will really get that consistency that we need.
How do you approach just Supreme and bringing him along? Is it a minute restriction, couple games, or is it just a feel of how his conditioning is holding up?
Well, it will be for a while. We've got to be careful with him. We didn't play him for long stretches the other day, and we won't, against Oregon State. Then we got a couple games back to back, which will be a little harder. But no, I think we'll just kind of play it by ear. I'll do what the trainers tell me, to do, and the doctors, how many minutes we want to keep him to here for a while.
You talked about the portal before the season. You kind of like speed dating. Do you feel like kind of that process and those guys you brought in has been a success?
Well, it's too early to tell. We haven't, gone the road. We haven't played a lot of games. I like the guys that we've brought in. They've done a nice job. So no, I don't know if it's going to be successful or not. It's way too early to tell.
Between the way the portal and NIL are now, Dana, but also with, it's no longer an NLI, but whatever, financial aid agreement. Is the early signing period antiquated Because, I mean, you guys went through it last year. Like, who even cares if you sign if everybody's just going to be out of there signing 6 months later anyway? Like, do we even need a November period for men's basketball?
You know, it's different. I think it is good for guys that know where they want to go. But, you know, so many things change, and then guys, you know, get the portal and, you know, am I going to have a spot? You know, it is hard for everybody because you can't look at your team and go, okay, I know these guys are going to be back, and I see where I fit in. You know, everything changes so much that it's really hard on everybody because you just, you know, freshmen can't look right now and go, okay, I see they're going to have this guy, and this guy back, and I got to compete with these guys for time. You know, everything could change drastically, you know, in April, May. So it is a little bit more difficult, and, you know, it's hard for some guys to see where they actually fit in.
I feel like Key and Jackson have done distributing the ball, no turnovers, limiting the turnovers, just running your guys' offense so far.
Well, you know, they've done okay. You know, you expect with their experience for them to be able to do a good job. You know, I'd like to see them both get to the rim more, get to the free throw line, because they're both really good free throw shooters, and we're not shooting enough free throws. So I'd really like to see them get, you know, in the paint more and be a little bit stronger at the finish, try to get to the free throw line. But no, they both got a good feel. You know, Key hasn't turned it over much. I think Jackson, the last 2 games, 11 assists, 2 turnovers. I think he went 5 and 0 and then 6 and 2 the other night. So those are kind of numbers that you like to string together. You know, 5 assists, 1 turnover. You know, average is something that's outstanding.
Through this early start, what have you learned about this team so far?
Again, it's too early. You know, I guess on, you know, a lot of things that we've got to improve on our physicality on the boards. Our blockout numbers are not good. We worked on it today because we're not blocking out, you know, and Troy had more second chance points than we did the other night. So we've got to do a much better job on the boards. Our fundamentals, you know, off and to the ball, man and ball, you know, things that are just imperative for you to have a good defense. We gave up, you know, 15 points or 15 baskets in the paint, 30 points in the paint the other night. And we were just all hugged up and not off and to the ball. So fundamentally, we've got a long way to go to be the kind of defense that we want to be the kind of offense that we want to have. So it's a work in progress, you know, with a lot of new guys, and you know, we got to keep making strides. You know, we were better the other night than we were Tuesday night, and we're going to need to be better on Thursday night than we were on Sunday afternoon. So, you know, it's just got to be a process that the guys embrace. You know, they don't like being criticized. Nobody does. But unless we get some things, you know, our physicality improves, our fundamentals improve, we're not going to be the team that we need to be.
Is Raheem in position to play on Thursday?
You know, he practiced some today, so I don't know for sure, and we'll see how he feels tomorrow. But I anticipate he'd be ready.
Is the determination made on Dez in terms of severity of what the timetable is looking like?
Yeah, it looks like he'll be out. You know, I haven't talked to him, so I'm not able to release exactly what the injury is. I'm sorry I didn't get it cleared. You know, I got to talk to him and get permission to talk about his injury. So,
Sasha, is this an injury related or is this an eligibility thing?
His is eligibility coming in, and as soon as we get the written report, we do have word from the NCAA what it is. I think we're waiting for written verification on, but it looks promising. I will give you that, you know, and but I think I got to wait till we get written verification. But we've been led to believe it's going to be very positive.
Speed was what you were preaching in the first kind of practices, is that trending in the right direction on offense at all? I mean, it was a little bit sketchy in those first couple games.
I didn't understand your question.
You were talking a lot about the speed of the offense preseason in the first couple practices. Is that trending in the right direction?
Well, I thought we shared the ball a little bit better the other night. Our ball movement still not what it needs to be. Our attention to detail on cuts and passes has got a long way to go. Guys got to get used to playing with each other, more. You can tell our timing's off quite a bit just because guys haven't been together enough. So, I think it's trending in the right direction, but, it's a long season. We played 10% of our games, so we hope in the next 4 or 5 that we're a lot better, and the next 4 and 5 after that we're better. It's a progression that hopefully the guys will get more comfortable playing, together. But our fundamentals got to improve. We had some opportunities the other night to get really good looks, and the passes weren't, crisp or clean. We had a couple opportunities. Our picks, we got Nate 2 illegal picks because our guards didn't get down low enough, and he was trying to set the pick, and they weren't close enough to him. It wasn't his fault; it was the guard's fault. So, a lot of those things we got to get better at, and I think our guys will. It's just attention to detail and experience.
Your thoughts on Oregon State? It seems like Wayne's got a pretty big new group this season.
Yeah, no, he's done a tremendous job of piecing a lot of new guys together. They move the ball really good. But no, he's done a really nice job of putting a lot of guys together, and it'll be a challenge for both of us. We've both been at home, and he's still going to be at home, but it's a road game for us. But they've played well, and their numbers are good. They're out rebounding people. They've shot the ball from 3 better than us. So no, we'll have our hands full.
Any prediction for what the last possession heart palpitation move is going to be this time in Corvallis, Dana?
Oh, we have had some close ones over there. So hopefully we won't take it to the last possession again.
I was talking to Wayne earlier today up at OSU, and he said that you guys both talked some point, probably in the offseason, obviously, about not wanting to be the one to basically kill this rivalry. What role do you think rivalries play in college basketball, and how important is it, for your team?
Well, like I said, I want to play the game. I think it's good for the state. So as long as Wayne wants to play and, our administrations are good with it, we're going to play. I want to play because I think it's good for the state, So, no, and this is a rivalry that's been played often. I'm not sure where it stands in the national thing, but it's one of the most played games ever, So I'm definitely not going to be the one to kill it. And I don't think Wayne wants to either. I mean, it's good for both of us, and, we need to play.
From a basketball fan perspective, yes. Rivalries are great. We all love rivalries, right? We want them to be, on the winning side of the rivalry. But, yeah, I love that approach from Coach Altman. Just me taking off the professional hat here for a moment. Like, on a personal level, yeah, I love that this game is still being played. I was even talking to Luke about it. Last time Luke played there, he scored like 39 points and had 16 rebounds. And he remembered that right away when we were talking about it. Going to be fun up in Corvallis, 7 o'clock tip tomorrow. We'll preview it a little bit more tomorrow as well. Now, when we come back, how about a check-in on the softball diamond? A fall ball update with Missy Lombardi coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by your local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Yesterday, we talked with Melissa Lombardi, Duck softball head coach. We welcome you back to the Country Financial Studio here. It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Fall ball update, checking in with Coach Lombardi. How about this? We get a chance to talk about softball in the month of November. After fall ball wraps up, there's the winter period, and then before you know it, practice begins for the spring season. Head coach Missy Lombardi is here in the Country Financial Studio. The long walk down the hall from your office. Did the walk feel any different for our first conversation this academic year as opposed to last year?
No, it felt good.
All right. That's what we like to hear. How was the fall, Coach? How was the off season since we last talked?
The fall was really, really good.
Cool.
Yes. And really, you want to know the difference of the fall is that we had practice in the morning instead of practice in the afternoon.
Really? That made a big difference?
Yeah. And I thought when we were first doing this, I'm like, let's just try it and see what happens. And I thought maybe they would not be happy with me once we got into it, but they loved it.
Really?
Just give them a chance to go lift, to go practice, and then have the rest of the day to do school and what they needed to. And it just really allowed us to be very productive the entire fall.
So it was like get up, lift, get your practice in, go to class. That was the routine? And you hadn't done it that way before?
We've never. It was our first time. So we were a little nervous not knowing if it was going to go the way we thought it would or it wouldn't. And so then they started asking me if we were practicing in the morning for winter. And I said no.
No,
we
can't. Yeah. Well, I get it. I mean, it's, I guess with the time change and class schedules and everything else. Are you a morning person naturally? Like, would you prefer to go in the morning?
I was good with it. It made me go to bed earlier than I normally am. Kind of a night owl a little bit. So it made me go to bed a little bit earlier. But they were right. We were really productive. We had a great fall.
Do any coaches that you know sleep on a normal schedule?
No.
I feel like that. I feel like that's like a rite of passage for coaching, that you have to be able to function on little sleep. I mean, your mind is probably always racing, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I get
but
that.
It did make me go to bed earlier, and so that was good.
That's great. Yeah. I didn't know that would make such a big difference. So the team liked it. Where'd you grow in the fall? Just generally, where'd you grow in the fall as a team?
Goodness, just together. Anytime these guys have to go through adversity together, do challenging things together, really understand how to put the team before them as individuals. We just grew in so many different areas.
Yeah. All right. Now, this is the time of year where there will be many position battles to discuss, and the team gets to play all that out. I won't ask you for a starting lineup today. Instead, can we just go position by position and just talk through the roster a little bit?
Sure.
Let's start pitching-wise. You've got some elite pitching and very deep group. What have you seen, I guess, on the mound?
just that. I think this will be our deepest group that we've had since I've been here. With the 5 of them, they look so different from each other. Like you're going to have to, as an opponent, you're going to really have to prepare for all 5. Yeah. And I like that a lot. We have a lot of experience on the mound, which I think goes a long way, and we have a lot of different looks.
Elise Sokolsky back. Taylor Spencer back. All Pac-12 accolades for them. Where have they grown as the veterans of the group now?
Well, Taylor, she's now a sophomore, and she worked incredibly hard this summer on increasing her velo and also working on her movement, and you could really see that when she came into the fall. So she's just a workhorse, and she loves to really just get after her craft. Yeah. And you could see that from her. So I love how hard she's throwing. I love their movement that she has. And I'm excited for her sophomore year.
Yeah.
Elise has amazing spin. Her spin is off the charts. And last year, she was still coming off of injury. Yeah. And as the end of the year went on, she got better. We just ran out of time a little bit with her, with her injury. And she is healthy, which has been great. So she's been able to practice a lot and throw a lot of pens and really gain a lot of more experience in the fall. And she looks really good.
For her, and then maybe just in general, like the obvious question, how important is the off season from a conditioning, from a development standpoint? Just put it into words, I suppose, for fans.
Yeah, it's everything. When you get into spring, you can't tinker with things. Like what you have is what you have. Can you obviously get better individually and as a team? Yes, but if you're still trying to work on things, you're behind. So not only is the fall important, it's what they do in the summer. The summer is what sets the tone for the fall and then takes you and you get to see where you are in the spring.
On the mound again, a couple transfer pitchers. 2 transfer pitchers that combined for 364 strikeouts last season. What have you seen from your 2 transfers?
Just, again, totally different. You look at Lindsay. She's a righty, hard-throwing, really good rise ball, great change of speed. And then Stacy's left-handed pitcher. Has good movement, change of speed, and then just being on the other side. We haven't had a lefty in a while, and you need a lefty. You need to have that lefty-lefty matchup. And it really good energy on the mound. Like, she gets after it.
Yeah.
They all get after it, all of them. They all. Rowan, she's like, she's our youngest one, and she's a freshman. And just seeing her velo and where it was at the beginning of the fall and where it is now, and just she's got some really good downward movement to complement what she just does with her rise and her screw.
Rowan Thompson from Salem. So you got always good to get the Oregonians.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Talking to you about offense. All right, so starters returning. Paige Sinicki, Kyle Lushar, Katie Flannery. I mean, you talk about that mixed in with some others. What have you seen offensively from your group?
This group has really got after it this fall. And, we do a lot of inter-squad with our team. And so our pitchers are going against our hitters and making them better. And our hitters are going after our pitchers as well. And so I really like what we've done all fall on both ends, and then just really watching these guys finish. I think one thing that they really learned this fall is going into the fall, sometimes we start like a little slow, and then they started to realize that we got to start fast. And that was in all areas. How can we start fast if we're leading, if we are the home team, how can we start fast on the mound? Defensively, if we're the visitors, can we do that offensively?
Yeah, I guess to that point too, like it's a chance to see what different players can do, right? How much do you rotate around? How much do you take from those different opportunities as you rotate a lineup in the fall?
A ton. I mean, our lineups were constantly different.
Right.
And then just getting to see what everybody's capable of doing. So we've got some really good power that you're going to see. We have speed. I think we're going to steal 100 bases this year for sure. Our defense is our defense. We always have really good defense. It looks different, our entire starting lineup from last year is gone. But got some really good athletes. Ayanna Shaw was hurt last year, and what she's able to do defensively and the threat that she is at the plate, it's not only having to deal with Kai, but having to deal with Ayanna. It's also having to deal with Kaylin Jones. We call her K-Dub. They all move.
Quick time out in the Country Financial Studio. We're going to come back, talk more softball with Oregon softball head coach Missy Lombardi on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Coach Lombardi talking softball. Part 2 of our conversation as we caught up with the Oregon softball head coach yesterday. Talking too about, I know defense is such a priority for you, Coach. I mean, just on the recruiting trail, like I feel like everybody in every sport wants to get after it on offense, but then defense is such an important piece. Like, how do you evaluate that as you look for the next student athletes to come into your program?
Yeah, I think we spoke about this before. Defense wins championships. Our offense, they're going to put the numbers on the board. Our pitching staff is going to give us a chance to win, but our defense is what's going to, hold us down.
Yeah. To that point, Paige Sinicki, you have a Gold Glover returning at shortstop. With so many other new faces potentially, how valuable is that and her experience at shortstop?
I think it's really valuable because you look around her and there's a lot of young athletes or new athletes that are around her this year. And so we need that one to be able to run our defense and be able to tell the others what she needs from them. We take a lot of pride in our defense. Our defense has always been really, really good. Mm-hmm. So how quickly can these others adapt? How quickly can she they all understand, how to move together and work with each other.
How big of a deal is chemistry? Like, I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough, like for a diamond sport defense, but I feel like it is a big deal. How big of a deal is it?
Yeah, I think it's a really big deal. Yeah. I think you have to have that chemistry, you have to have the communication, but ultimately you have to have that trust and understand how the people around you play. If I'm a shortstop and I'm playing in, then my outfielder's got to know that something in between, it's going to be theirs because it's going to be further for me to go, right? And so I think that's just the communication piece, which these guys have worked really hard this fall, but then also trusting that they can take care of each other and I've got you.
Right. I even think about the example of like shortstop to second base, where's that ball going to be when you're turning two? And just that trust level of a quick throw. And you see all these highlight reel plays. I mean, Paige made so many of them so far in her career. Like, I just think about that as such a great shining example of why defense wins championships, right? All right. Now, Every, I think, fan heard you say a moment ago that you want to steal 100 bases. Let's go! Stealing 100 bases like your speed, it sounds like. And I know you're a coach that likes to put pressure on. Feels like you can do that heading into the spring?
Yes, definitely do. These guys, they all run well.
Yeah. Rest of the roster, newcomers. Tell us a little bit about the newcomers. Freshmen, let's start there. Okay. Ranked number 16 in the recruiting rankings. I don't know if coaches care about that, but when you're a top 25 recruiting class, it gives me something to talk about. What have you seen from your freshman group this year?
Our freshmen have done a really good job of settling in. What I love is that they all came and did summer bridge, which I think goes a long way. It really allows them to start ahead academically. Yeah. If you are settled academically, you are going to be able to blossom on the field athletically. If you're struggling academically, it's tough. Yeah. And so to come here in the summer and to be able to get some credits, to be able to work with our strength coach, to be able to utilize the Jane and just go at their own pace so they're ready for the fall, you could see that they were all able to do that and do it really well. Our freshmen they're competitive, they're driven, they've got good work ethic, they're fun. You know what, our freshmen, the energy level, I haven't felt energy the way I feel this year with this team.
And practicing in the morning.
Yes.
See?
Exactly.
Energy level in the morning. Well done.
Yep.
Well done to the freshmen. A couple transfers that I know a lot of fans will love to hear from. You got one from New Mexico State, one from Florida. A little bit about your offensive transfers, if you could.
Yes. Des, she just explosive. She could change the game in one swing. She's got a ton of power. And just extra base hits. She's here to drive runners in, hit the ball deep. So you're going to see that from her. I love Kayla Pollard. We call her Lefty.
Gotta have lefties.
Yeah, left-handed hitters, got good power, has good plate coverage. You know, she can hit the ball deep, but then can also hit the gaps as well.
Yeah. Now on the schedule, as of this recording, we're talking on Tuesday afternoon. Still being finalized for the schedule. Can you tell us anything? What do we know about the schedule? Are you happy with how it's shaping up? I guess just give fans a general insight.
Yes, I do. I really like our schedule a lot. We open up at UNLV. And we open up at UNLV because Kai and Kedri Lushar and Paige Sinicki are all from Nevada.
Cool.
And so we want to go to where, we want to get to their hometown or as close as we possibly can. So we're going to open up there. And then our second weekend, we are at Arizona and GCU, their combined tournament, which is a really good tournament. We've been there multiple times. And then we go to Palm Springs and have a tough schedule. I love Palm Springs. There's always great softball to be played there. Cool. All the best are there. And then what I love this year is that we have two home tournaments that we are hosting.
Huge.
Yes. And we've got some great opponents in both weekends. Florida State will be here the second weekend. They were going to come last year, and then we had some weather issues, and so they said they'd come back this year.
Which is awesome, by the way. I mean, that's great that they're able to still return the trip, right? Talk about a marquee match. I mean, I think about it from a pure softball fan standpoint. You want to see those kind of matchups in non-conference. Yeah. So on behalf of all softball fans, thanks for scheduling it, Coach. We appreciate it. How valuable are those tournaments at home and just the fact that you get to host some at the Jane?
I think they're really valuable. Like the place that we love to play the most is at the Jane and in front of our fans. And we obviously know that's going to happen in conference, but to be able to have two home tournaments and do that in March and to be able to sleep in our own beds and just stay on our own schedule, I think goes a really long way for our athletes.
Yeah. A couple final thoughts with Coach Lombardi talking softball. The Big Ten schedule, again, still being finalized. I know working through that. What's it been like so far heading into the Big Ten? Update fans.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I honestly think for this year, it's about just going in and attacking the season and going after it, and then if you have some adjustments you make with anything that's new, that you just make them and you just keep pushing forward. So we're looking forward to it.
I am too. All right, Coach, what else should fans know? What did we miss today?
We have our Diamond Dinner coming up in January.
All right.
Yep. I mean, that's how we kick off our season. So we love to just pack the house and get everybody to come and help us open up our season. And that's on all of our socials, and we'll keep sending stuff out for that. We're right at the end of the fall. We've had a really good fall. These guys are finishing up with school, and then we're excited to get started.
What's the transition between the fall schedule, winter break? Like, what do you want your athletes working on the next few weeks?
I think they know exactly what they need to do. and it's just about them just continuing to get after it. Even though we're done as a team, that shouldn't change for them. They know individually, and I think we've got some really great leaders on our team that they know as a team what they need to do for these next couple weeks going into the end of the year.
Coach Lombardi, always great to talk a little bit of softball. The Diamond Dinner coming up. Season's going to be here before you know it. Do you get any rest over the next few weeks?
Yes. How about that? Just a little. So,
Coach, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Coach Lombardi and the Ducks going to be back at it just a couple months before you know it. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
I was glad that she said she'd get a little bit of rest. Coach Lombardi, Oregon softball head coach. Timeout here on Duck Insider. We'll come back, wrap things up next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. One of our social campaigns this year has been Coast to Coast, features for Oregon men's basketball. We, this week, got a chance to highlight Keyshawn Bartholomew. After that game against Portland, kind of the triumphant return for him this season was great work, being able to sit down with him and hear a little bit about his journey back. Hit that big 3 against Portland, hit a couple big shots against Portland to give the Ducks a victory, and that's after what was a long offseason for him. Been great to see him back. Coast to coast with men's basketball's Keyshawn Bartholomew. Down 9. Ducks need a bucket here. Bamba, left wing. Pass to Bartholomew, right side triple.
Johnson deflected by Dante. Bartholomew foul.
Well, not good news for the Ducks. Keyshawn Bartholomew, the junior from Montreal, having to be carried off the court.
I don't remember the exact way it got to me going to the rim, but I know it was transition, and then I go up, and then next thing you know, just hear like a pop. So then kind of look at my foot. I'm like, oh, I don't have my shoe on. So I'm looking for my shoe, and I realize oh, my foot is pointed the wrong way, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is not good.
Tell us what happened to Keyshawn.
He's at the hospital getting tests right now, and
he's, he really was playing good. He really got a flow going there, and just really sad to see it.
I was angry, but I was then motivated. Like in the moment, like you kind of maybe like sulk for a day or two. Then you realize that like we'll be back. As soon as I was able to do PT, I was in PT every day, like and doing foot exercising, rolling to the ball, cold tub, and then it gradually came back to like walking on the treadmill, like doing balancing exercises. It was a good rehab just because I was so locked into it. I just knew that time would fly, right? Like you just know these things. I just knew like if I just do a little bit every day, then my rehab will be, like a professional rehab, and it ended up being so I'm happy that it was a good experience for me. Deal with those types of moments, and how do you bounce back? It's all about bouncing back. It's everybody falls, but it's how you get back up and put your chin up, lock in, honest.
Welcome inside Matthew Knight Arena. The Ducks are off to a 2-0 start, coming off a win over UC Riverside 91-76 and a victory over Montana 79-48. Now the Ducks welcome the Pilots of Portland, traveling south down Interstate 5. Ducks and Pilots coming up. Down 9. Ducks need a bucket here. Bamba, left wing. Pass to Barthélemy. Right side triple. Finally!
The lid is off the rim.
It was really a finally call, wasn't it? That was part of Coast to Coast. We know the rest of the story, right? Keyshawn Barthélemy hits another couple shots. It's been awesome for me to see Keyshawn. He wants to be a broadcaster when he's done playing, actually. And it's been awesome for me to just see him work so hard and to have that moment in a game where the Ducks needed somebody to hit a three. And the lid came off. Finally, the threes went in. Great work from the Oregon video crew. And for Keyshawn Barthélemy, what a cool moment. He and the Ducks in action tomorrow. Oregon men's basketball in Corvallis. Ducks, Beavs, 7 o'clock start, 6:30 pregame for us here on the Oregon Sports Network. Tomorrow, we're going to talk with Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wasikowski, a check-in after the fall slate for his team. We'll have a little more preview of men's basketball, then women's basketball tonight. Ducks hosting Auburn. Big game, 6 o'clock tip at Matthew Knight Arena. We'll see you there.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving.